Hello, and welcome to my universe. So, man, I swear, I clear my throat, and then there's more stuff in it the second I open my mouth. Anyway, here we are. I think it looks mostly okay. About the only complaints I have are in the legs, and I think that might be why she was looking a little more chibi proportioned, actually. Like, I thought it was in her torso for a while, but I think it might actually be in her calves here. So, I'm gonna go make her lower legs a little bit longer. I think the feet size are fine? Question mark? I say with no confidence, but, you know, we're gonna go with that assumption for now. And just, carry on here. What are you? Oh, you're Doodle Layer, that's right. Okay, I don't need this group anymore. I'm gonna clean up some stuff. I'm gonna name the Doodle Layer so I don't get confused every time I see it again. And here we go. Okay, but before I can fix the size of the legs, I need to give myself a little bit more room. And if I need to crop this image, that's fine. It's not a problem. It'll be transparent, so it doesn't really matter how big or small it is, as long as the entire picture is inside of it. Okay, here we go. I'm going to hide the feet once I find them, and let myself have plenty of room for just general leg stuff, for lack of a better term. Okay. So, I will see if this helps. And in the meantime, while I start cleaning this up and then start going through and finally rendering everything, I thought it might be interesting to talk about something that I vaguely touched on in yesterday's Copy Kitty stream. And somebody mentioned that I really like indie games. True. I like games where I can tell that the people that created them really wanted them to exist, and that's kind of important to me, and I think more indie games do that than AAA games. There are certain exceptions. The first one that immediately comes to mind was Baldur's Gate 3. Technically not AAA, but AA. We're working in battery terms now, I guess. But yeah, I could tell that the people that made that were very much fans of the original. It's like they wrote Minsk right, and that is not easy. So, I could tell that they really, really wanted that game to exist. But I feel like it's becoming more and more rare in high-budget games, where the only reason that the game gets to exist is because some people think it'll make bank, I guess. And I don't think that's a problem, making money off of games. It's really only a problem when it comes at the expense of gameplay and other, you know, generally unpleasant things. So I don't know, for a while I just found myself immensely disappointed in pretty much every game that I played, and so I stopped buying them. And then Steam happened, and the indie market kind of exploded, and you know, that was pretty great. So it kind of let me enjoy games again, and that was good. And it all made me very happy. But the comment that I actually wanted to talk about a little bit had to do with employment. Ooh, the big scary word that you're not supposed to say when you're a VTuber. But, yeah, I've got a bit of a beef with employment as a concept in general. But I want to focus it on the games industry in general. And the comment that I made was that if you actually like and care about video games, you should not get a job in it. Just don't. Because the industry, as it is right now, is just so utterly rotten to the core that if you get into AAA development, become a developer or QA or just anything at all, you are probably actively making the industry worse at this point. Hello there, Protox. Just, talking about the problems with the game industry. But yes, this was something I observed when I was in school, because I went to school for game design and development. That's how I learned to code. And my original intention was to get into the video game industry. And then I looked at it and I was like, oh. I determined it was a bad idea, so I didn't. I still learned to code, though, and I don't regret doing that. Coding is pretty great. But when I looked inside, it was very much another one of those industries that preyed on passion. So it took people that clearly cared about what they were doing and what they were making, and just used it as an excuse for low wages to basically bully them and all of this stuff. And so I decided, you know what, I'm not gonna do that. I might make my own indie studio at some point, but I'm not gonna do that. That does not seem like a good idea. And I stand by it. I think it's actually gotten worse than it was when I was in school. Significantly worse. Like, all I was talking about was bullying and stuff. I mean, the games there were relatively okay. I think that they were getting bad, and they were very much in the realm of not my genre. But, yeah. Alright, gotta pause that for a second, because I gotta look at her legs here, and I don't think that helped. No. Deeply unfortunate. And I can't really go back, so I'd have to reload my last save, which I will do because this is really bad. So give me just a moment to reopen this. We're gonna go stare at Katya for a second. Are you ready? While I open it again. Okay, where are you? Look, sometimes a change is bad enough that I just say, no thank you. Alright, so, unfortunately making the legs longer didn't look, so I'm just gonna stick with chibi-like proportions. She's just gonna be small, and I think I'm okay with this. Alright, let me clean up layers again. There we go. Okay. And now that I'm satisfied, I honestly don't think that the proportions look this bad. She does look super deformed. I think she maybe looks 3-4 heads tall at most, when I think her actual model's 5. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, about 5. 3 is not that much shorter, right? So, I think it's okay. I might go mess around with that just a little bit. I just want to make sure everything is in a good state. I want to at least try to get everything the way I want before I start rendering, just so I don't have to make quite as many changes, and maybe I will suffer a little bit less. But okay, now speaking of suffering, we can go back to talking about the game industry. And yeah, the comment that I made was that if you care about video games, you should not get a job in game design at this point. And I very much stand by that, because anybody that gets a job in game program, quality assurance, art, anything, literally anything, is gonna go to towards a product that the people calling the shots, the lead developers, the people, the investors, people with money, etc., do not care about, and it will lead the poor developers to having to put in features into the game that actively make it worse. And that's got to be the most soul-crushing thing ever. And I just do not think that the industry will heal until they simply cannot get more talent and, two, people stop buying it. So, if you care about video games, if you think video games are great and deserve respect as an art form, do not get a job in game development. If you want to make games, go make your own little indie studio and maybe get a job in something else. If you are able to, like, if you're not, you know, no judgment. You got to do what you got to do. But you will not be treated well in the industry, so, you know, be careful. But I will say, perhaps more importantly, just don't buy AAA games anymore. Just don't. No pre-orders. No hate watching. If you need something fun to do, go pick up some, I don't know, a nice indie game. They'll cost less money and you'll have more fun. Or, you know, failing that, pick up some, and you just need something to distract you for a while, go pick up some terrible free-to-play game out there somewhere, if you can handle the manipulativeness, but, you know, if you're playing AAA games, you probably can. So, there you go. I stand by that. The state of the industry is embarrassing. It is deeply unfortunate, but, you know, I do think it can heal. I do think that the easiest way to do that is just to make it so they can't find talent anymore. I imagine most talent is coming from third world countries that they don't really have to care about anymore, you know, like India and whatnot, but at the very least, you know, it's something to be done. I actually think that a lot of this goes towards general employment where, again, you gotta do what you gotta do. I have no judgment towards people that go into something knowing it's probably going to be a little bit terrible. No judgment at all. But, you know, if you've got the money or resources where you can be a little bit more choosy with jobs, I think it's worth it. Okay, I'm debating on whether I prefer a slightly smaller head. I think I do. So I'll go with that. And we'll start rendering from here, because everything else seems pretty okay. I'm not quite sure about this arm yet, but I don't really want to think about arms right now. I'd rather think about other depressing topics. Alright. Let's get into the hair here. I call it a depressing topic. It is depressing, but I think it's worth talking about. Just the state of a lot of these things is, you know, really quite sad. There's no other way to put it. And I'm actually kind of coming to hate the concept of employment in general. I'm sure that sounds weird coming from a VTuber. Allow me to explain. Where, you know, back in ye olden days, say that there was a guy in the village that, I don't know, made tools. So he could make, you had an awesome blacksmith, he would make tools to help you plow your fields or fix your house or anything like that. And that's what he did. He would determine how long he would work, what he would make, and what it was worth to him, and he would do that all himself. And he would directly see the fruits of his labor because he'd sell his wares to his neighbors, who could then produce more food in the fields, and everyone would have more to eat. And you know, that's all very nice. The farmer would be able to watch his crops grows, be able to just see everything happen, and he knew exactly what to do in order to make it to optimize growth there. And maybe he'd go to the blacksmith for advice sometimes, but you know, when it came down to it, the blacksmith was not going to tell him what to do, because he was a blacksmith, not a farmer. And that goes for more specialized fields too. If you had somebody that made watches. Yes, if he had somebody that made watches, he could determine how many watches he wanted to make in a day. And then he could see people be able to use his clocks in order to, you know, do whatever they need to do with clocks. So employment is just fundamentally different. I think there are advantages to old village living. I'm not sure how effective it would be, but I do think it's worth looking toward for inspiration. There are certain things I think are better, but there's a lot of things that I think are worse. But that's kind of how I see it, because, you know, when you had ye old village living, you had people that knew their trade, and the people that knew their trade were the ones making the decisions about the trade. And they were responsible to themselves and the people they cared about. And that was about it. But now, with employment, well, the people calling the shots are people that know nothing about the task. They are more well-suited to other tasks. I don't doubt that a lot of... I'm gonna go with let's just say a small business owner, okay? We're not gonna go with the corrupt evil CEOs. We're gonna go with a well-meaning small business owner. There's no moral judgment here. They're doing their best. So, but what they're good at is maybe what they initially wanted to make, and business. They know some stuff about some business things. But maybe they don't actually know how software development works when they want to build their app, or their website, let's say. And then they're harassing the nice little freelancer that they hired to say, hey, can you add this to the website? And then suddenly the website just becomes a total slop fest because the developer is listening to this guy that knows nothing about web development or design. And it's terrible. And then as you get higher and higher to these big complex corporate structures, you get further and further removed from the actual product. And then you get all these people that, you know, maybe we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt here, maybe know something about business, are suddenly telling tech support what to do and updating the various tools that they have to use. And no, this is not on a single layer. I could if I wanted to. The hair itself is not a single layer, but well, it's technically two. The pigtails are a different layer, but the hair itself is a single layer. But yeah, you start getting farther and farther removed from the people that actually know what they're doing, and it just breeds incompetence. And furthermore, when you're just an employee and you speak up because you know what you're talking about, it's it doesn't typically go well. Let's just say it like that. And at best, you'll be ignored. And furthermore, if you're doing something that you know will actively make things worse, you don't have a choice. Like, it's do that or be fired. And then you have to go find someone else to beg for money, I guess. So, I kind of have beef with the general concept of employment, and I think it's unfortunate that it's become normal and expected, and the go-to insult for people that need to get a life is get a job. I'm glad that I have no desire for any material possessions. So, I can, you know, raise 2 kids on like 10,000 USD a year with no problem. Okay. But back to art. Right now, I'm just kind of focusing on smoothing out the edges here. And actually, you know what? I caught myself. One of the things that I'd been telling myself for a while is that I should focus a little bit more on the face before I finish off the hair. Because normally the way I like to do things is I like to do it front to back. So I try to get the things on top, render it before the things underneath it. So kind of the reverse of what you do in traditional painting. And the reason for that is that this way I know the things that are covered by that layer. So you can see that with her hair, it's going to be covering the corner of her eyes, for example, a lot of her eyebrows and that kind of thing. Well, I know that I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about it. I can just ignore it. So I like doing that, but I have found that I tend to get my facial proportions wrong until I refine it a little further. So then after that, I found that I was very frequently having to go back and fix the hair after I rendered it, and that just felt terrible. So I'm gonna do a little bit more work on the face before I go and render the hair. I am catching myself this time. And yeah, I really like this method. For the longest time, I tried to sketch things out with lines, but it just never worked for me. I cannot explain why, but it just never did. And I just found that I was able to more clearly see shapes when I used silhouettes and blobs of color, or more accurately, the lighting. When I initially started, I drew on one layer in black and white, so I basically just made a black and white underpainting, and then if I wanted color, I colored via glazing on top. And that's how I did things for a while. Eventually, I started doing blobs of color instead because I found that it made my colors better. And I was able to work out all the details of the painting just like right away, and that felt much better. But for whatever reason, I just saw things in color and light, and I could not see it when I attempted to draw in lines like most people. So I just stopped doing it. And I tried a different method, and it worked really well for me. So here we are. So for me, the distinction between sketch and finished drawing is very, very thin. Very thin. And I have found that it works really well for me. Yeah. I think there are pros and cons. I do think I get good hair shapes, but the downside is that sometimes my hair can look a little bit less full because I don't often draw like strands that are not in the silhouette. So like this one, for example. A lot of the time I don't end up doing stuff like that. And sometimes that can make my hair look a little flat, especially in short hair. So it's just something to be aware of. I think basically any process that you pick will have pros and cons. So it's just a matter of deciding which cons you can tolerate and which pros you need in order to do anything at all, really. I've heard a lot of people say that you shouldn't do line art, and, you know, as someone... Yeah, exactly. And as someone that does not do line art, I don't. I guess this particular image is going to have something that resembles line art, but... most of the time, my pictures are completely lineless. I think the recommendation to not do line art is a silly one. I think presenting it as an option is a good idea. Just because I think so many young illustrators, I'll call them baby illustrators, regardless of age. You're still a baby illustrator when you're getting started. Feel the need to, you know, follow a step-by-step process. Yeah. And the way I see it, a line art is just answering a particular question. Do you want to clean up your drawing now or later? So people that like clean line art say that they want to clean up the picture now, have an easier time a little bit later because, you know, once you have very clean line art, you can just kind of plop down some base colors and lock the layers there, and then you'll have a very easy time rendering afterward. Whereas with me, it's like, okay, I've got the basics down. Now I have to go through and clean everything, and that takes forever. So line art may take forever, but you know what I'm doing right now also takes forever. Art is just hard. So that's where I say, you just gotta kind of pick your poison. And it's fine. Hello there, Dex. Okay, and I decided this expression is not nearly crazy enough, so I'm gonna go a bit harder. This eye is now gonna be a little bit more like this. It's gonna be fantastic. So I just gotta break apart this eyelash a little bit. It's gonna go a little bit wider, and it'll be great. There we go. Isn't that nice? Doesn't she look like she's just gonna beat you up? Okay. Alright, very imprecise for the time being, but that's fine. But yes, I dig this. This is so much better. Alright. It came to me just now, but I was like, huh. You know what? I want to do it. Hell yeah. When I realized I didn't go quite hard enough on certain aspects of things. Okay. There we go. That's a nice expression. I'm happy now. Okay, let's get the eyebrows congruent with all this now. There we go. It's okay. She won't be bald much longer. This is probably sufficient refinement on the face to let me see that my proportions are okay. Let's start her hair back on. How do I feel about it? Yeah, look. This style is all about pushing boundaries and going as hard as you can on everything, and that expression was just way too tame. Not nearly crazy enough. Okay, I'm gonna go turn all the layers back on real quick and make sure that I kind of like where I'm going with this. Okay, indeed, I do have my proportions a little bit wrong. I should refine the mouth just a little bit too. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, what happened? Okay, somehow I clicked up there. Computer, what are you doing? Okay. I think now is the time to revisit my collection of anime delinquent pictures. I already determined I wanted a big smile. But it's like, what kind of smile? I just have Google Images open. When I want just a big collection of vibes, I tend to just go with Google Images. So I just got a tab open in my browser here. I won't be too long. Okay. Oh, yeah. All these guys, I just use Krita's reference tool. It's just right there. And then I just plop them in. Oh, how am I doing it? Yeah, it's just, Krita has a little thing right here. The reference images tool, you click that. And then tool options. And then you add it with the little plus sign there. And it'll just plop it in. Very, very easy. I just don't like having to scroll back and forth then. I see. Yeah, no, it's just this little thumbtack button over at the rest of the tools there. Then you'll just plop it in there and all is well. Okay. And I did try a couple of other expressions, like, let's take another look real quick. We don't need a nose for a second, because I also did consider something kind of like this. But no, she's just, way cuter. Yeah, it's gotta be a big smile. It's gotta be a big smile. We're gonna let her show her nice little cute gator teeth. Yeah, me too. I'm gonna make it a little more smirky. So I want this side to be a bit higher up. Nice, big, and very silly. Probably eventually. I'm not really concerned with any details yet. It's not important. Yes, exactly. But, you know, it's details. I don't care about details right now. I'm definitely going to be doing hair before I do anything there. It's like that there might be a little something like that there at some point, but whether or not I put that on girls specifically is highly variable. Yep, yeah, I gotta get the gist first. If you go into details too soon, you're gonna have a bad time. Because, I mean, like, you notice I haven't even drawn, like, any proper eyelashes or anything on her yet, or, you know, put any, like, blush on her cheeks or anything. I'm just making sure that everything is in the right place. I actually think this nose needs to be a little bit lower, but not much. So that's all I'm really doing right now. I'm just making sure that I enjoy the expression here, and that I like where I'm going. And those little things like creases and, I don't know, extra lights in the eye, or, you know, a general detail in the hair or any of that. You know, none of that's important right now. Having sharp teeth is, though, so that'll be plopping in. I just want to make sure that I got the gist of things. I actually think that line's a little bit too high. Let's lower that down. I don't go into details until I am satisfied with how everything looks. So I kind of do things cyclically. So I guess I'll say first, I kind of worry about composition, general, where I'm gonna put things and that sort of thing. Less of an issue with this one because it's literally just the character. I put it too low now. But, so yeah, I'd say composition first, so that's where I determine pose, color scheme, all of that stuff, and it's all very, very rough at the beginning. For good examples, I just finished that drawing of Leia Memoria recently, so there's always VODs and stuff. I organize things into playlists, so you can always go take a look on how I get started with things, if you find such things helpful. And then after that, I start making sure that the perspective is mostly correct. I don't always get it right away, but I start worrying about perspective and then proportion. Proportion both in the character, that part tends to take a lot longer, but also the character relative to elements in the background and all of that. And then after that, that tends to be when I start kind of smoothing things out. But you can see here, I still made some different decisions. I changed the general mouth shape. I changed her eyes a little bit because I didn't feel like I was going quite hard enough. At the beginning, I thought that the proportions of my legs were off, but that ended up not working out, but that's okay. And then you just go round and round. So until you're ready to basically smooth everything, like you feel like you're not going to change anything, I'd say don't do any details. So right now, I'm kind of bordering onto that stage where I don't think I'm going to change anything. But I'm not quite there, so that's why I'm not going to do any particular details. I'm still focused on a lot of the big picture stuff, but it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So, last time I was like, okay, how long do the legs need to be? Where should her head be? At the start of this stream, I shrunk the head quite a bit because I felt like it was a little bit too big. How do I want to be posing her arm? What the heck do I even do with this one? And various things like that. And this time, I was like, you know, I don't feel like I'm going hard enough on her expression. Let's change her eyelashes a little bit. And you'll see that, you know, the pose of an arm or a leg is far bigger than the pose of an eyelash. So, the details I'm starting to care about are getting smaller. And just a little while ago, before I decided to go do some more stuff with her face, I was poking at the shape of the hair and kind of refining the edges there. So, that is very precise, much smaller than just getting, you know, the shape of the pigtails here, for example. Here, I'm actually caring about little strands coming off like this one, or that kind of thing. So, the details get smaller, that you care about gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and there's no need to rush it. It's like, you'll get to all those details eventually, it's all good. Make sure you actually know where they need to go first. I had a problem with that for a while, where I just kind of start absent-mindedly rendering things, and then I would have to... Then I would notice a problem, and I basically have to redo everything, and that was just very sad. So. Just gotta be patient. I do virtually no studying. I just draw pictures. For me, studying is a thing to do when I don't know what to draw. Or I'm not feeling very inspired. Otherwise, I just go, okay, what do I like about this picture? What do I not like about this picture? And then I pick a couple of things I want to work on in the next picture. And then I draw the next picture. Oh, that's good. Yeah, if you're finding something that works, that's fantastic. I just work with a method that has me being like, okay, I have something I want to work on here, so let's just do it in the next picture. Get that mouth going up a little bit bigger. Oh, yeah. Wonderful. Okay, how does the head feel? Okay, let's fix the jaw. Mouth is a little bit off center. I think that's maybe somewhat okay, but I might be going a little bit too hard on that. Oh yeah, I will always be here encouraging people. If you don't want to study, don't. Just draw stuff. It's okay. If you don't know what to draw, that's a perfect time to maybe do a little bit of studying. Either that or just draw Hatsune Miku. I don't think studying is necessarily a bad idea for people that enjoy it, though. Because that way you don't have to suffer like I do, and I'm just like, okay, I want to do weird perspective with a lot of these drawings that I've been working on, but I'm not very good at it yet, so I just do it anyway, and then I flail for a couple of hours, and it takes me a little while to get it right. But I've always been in the camp where I'm actually pretty okay with working on the same picture for like a month at a time, and that kind of patience is pretty okay for me. But I imagine for people that actually, like, want to finish a lot of pictures, would have a hard time doing things the way I do. As with all things, pros and cons. It's very easy to get impatient. Extremely. Okay. How do I feel about facial proportions now? I think I want to make that more closed eye just a little bit bigger. Now just like, where do I put it, since that other one is just so wide open and this one is a little bit narrowed? Art is hard. Just trying to kind of map a line across the face and try to get a decent understanding of how the head is tilted there. I think right there might be okay. No, a little lower. Yes. And then both eyes a little higher. So this is where I'm going to make the people watching the time-lapse really dizzy. I could, but I'm not gonna. I don't think it helps me very much. I just kind of gotta feel my way through it. Because, like, I mean, I can see the line. It's right there. I see the line between them. It just, this eye is so exaggeratedly open. It is so much bigger than this one that's a little bit more narrow that it's weird. And when things are weird, there's only so much you can do. I just want this one to look a little bit more narrowed and closed now. There we go. Okay, I think that should be good. And I think I want my little nose to be just a touch bigger. The shape is good, though. I think the shape is great. Shape is so good, I want to make it bigger so it's a little bit more noticeable. Okay. And with that, you know, I'm glad that I did all that because now I have the head tilted at a slightly different angle than it was before, and now the hair doesn't match up with that. So, there we go. And I managed to notice it before I started smoothing everything this time, so I will not have to re-render any hair. Hell yeah. Oh, you know what? I didn't realize the ribbons were not in my hair group. Let's put them in there. Okay. Now we'll get the hair back on her head. Get the angles lining up correctly, and it will be wonderful. I forget that her bangs are like ridiculously tall. They are actually quite far away from her eyes. I'm actually going to squish it a little. There we go. Now just kind of trying to line up the center with the center of her face. And just get that tilt exactly the way I want it. Right about there. Okay. And you know what? I think I'm happy, so I'm gonna go back to rendering hair. I'll see how far through the hair I can get today. Because anime hair is just always an adventure. Every anime girl must have at least a third of their body weight in hair. Otherwise, she's not a real anime girl. Even if the hair is short. There we go. This isn't too rough from the transforming that I did, so I don't really feel like I have to go over it too much. Let's go ahead and get these areas I haven't touched up yet. I'm going to turn off the pigtails and the highlights for that matter. Okay. Oh no, people have not moved on from that. I still see lots of super beautiful anime hair that is just incredibly detailed. I'm trying to think of a good example right now. I can't think of any, but it's really popular in Korean art. They also like to put a lot of random details around the eyes and the lips. Some of which I'm not honestly a fan of, but the hair I think is super beautiful. I never thought his Clannad hair is particularly detailed. Unfortunately, I can't think of an artist off the top of my head. You know what? Let me see if I can find something. Yeah, let's see if I can find something good here. Because there's just a particular thing that I'm thinking about, just very specific. Okay. Unfortunately, I cannot quite find what I've been picturing. It's really hard to find specific art styles when you don't know what they're called or don't know a specific artist off the top of your head. And Google has no idea what I'm talking about and keeps giving me results. Okay, this is pretty close. I'll go pull this up on stream here. Give me just a moment. And this one is pretty low on detail compared to what I'm picturing. So yeah, there. This is the kind of thing that I was picturing when I thought about the Korean art style. So you can see that just a lot of the individual strands, they like to have lots of detail around the eyes and lips in particular. So this was the kind of hair that I think of when I think of really detailed hair. And this is actually pretty simplified and messy compared to some of the stuff I've seen. And another one, just kind of adjacent of a Korean artist that I really like. Let me find his Twitter here. He doesn't quite do this, but he does something similar. I like this guy a lot. Okay. Huh. Is it different when you're logged in? Well, okay. I don't want to have to log into Twitter. I'll go find some specific images then. I like this guy a lot, and he does do some wonderfully detailed hair as well. Let me find a good one for what I'm thinking about. I see. He's been deleting his posts off Twitter. That's unfortunate. Let's see. I think he has something on Blue Sky. Today, we appreciate other artists instead of drawing things. But you know what? I think that's fine. Let's see. Can I see it without logging in? Yes, usually. There is some wonderful stuff out there. Okay, it still doesn't want to load. Man, everything is so rude today. Oh, sign in required. Man. Oh, this one's nice. But that one doesn't really show off his really awesome lines. Okay, this one does. Now that one's still pretty simplified. Let me... Okay. Okay, is it gonna complain that I'm trying to... Okay, good. It's letting me show it off. So, yeah. He does lots of really just little fine lines and everything, and I think it's fantastic. So, this would be another example of some stuff that I consider for detailed hair. I mean, just, look at all the little things going on there. It's great. Alright, I'll go back to drawing things now. Let's read it back on here. Yeah, that's That was the kind of thing I was thinking of when I was thinking of really detailed hair. Just a lot of what the Koreans are doing right now. And what's popular there. They go real hard on hair, I swear. I do not. I do think hair, proportionate to everything else, is probably what I spend the most time on in any of my drawings. Just because, you know, any anime girl, any proper anime girl needs to have like a third of her body weight in hair. But I keep the detail pretty sparse most of the time, unless I'm trying to get like really realistic. Yes, exactly. Yeah, you can't mess around with the things near the face. Because the face must be cute, the face must be good, and I just realized I'm using all kinds of straight or curved lines here. And I totally forgot, while I was being absent-minded and talking about things, that curved lines are forbidden in this style. So let's go straighten all those out. No curves allowed at all. They are forbidden. So time to go turn these into nice hard angles. And nice straight lines. I see, you don't draw people then. Hello there, Tamak. Yeah, most of what I draw is characters, so I draw lots of hair. I draw many an anime girl, so I probably spend a good half my life drawing hair. It comes with the territory. I am! Nitty is great. And right now I've got things mostly kind of set. I just have to clean it all up. Oh, I see. That makes sense. That is very important to do. Oh no, I know exactly what you're talking about. If you want things to look more organic and natural, then yes, you do want to vary the size and length of things. And the various size of the clumps. And you don't need to go very hard on each individual strand. That's the kind of funny thing about our vision. Your brain lies to you. Your brain is a big fat liar and you should not listen to it any more than you have to. I guess you have to listen to it sometimes, but when it comes to visuals, definitely cannot be trusted. So, it tells you that the hair is made up of lots of individual strands and that it thinks it sees them. But if you actually look at somebody from far away, and you take a real good look at them, it can be a photo or anything, you will see that you do not see individual hairs, you just see big clumps of them. And this is true for everything. So if you look at a field, you do not see each individual blade of grass. Your brain recognizes that it's a bunch of grass, but you do not actually see that. So when you paint it, you do not want to be drawing individual grass. You just want to draw the grass as a group. Implication? Is this implication of form? I guess you could use that word, but it's literally just a case of drawing what you actually see. And when you see hair, you do not see strands. You just don't. Not if you actually look really, really close at the subject. Unless you're like right up in their face. So if my entire drawing was basically this, maybe you'd see some individual strands, but it's not. It's like this. So she's a pretty good distance away from us. Far enough away that we can see her entire body. So at this distance, we would not see each individual strand. Yeah, that's why I was saying this is not really an implication of form. This is just literally what you see. When you look at hair, if you try to clear your mind of all biases, you will not see individual strands. You just don't. It's your brain trying to fill in details for you. Because it knows that hair is made up of individual strands. But if you look with your eyes on its own, you do not see individual strands. You don't. Not unless you're, like, right up in their face. We're talking, like, 2 inches from their face. Then you start seeing the individual strands. So anything short of that, individual strands will straight up make your work look less realistic. And for anime specifically, where we don't really care about the realism, it leaves a weird impression, and it doesn't look very good. So that's where we get the big simplified clumps. It is. That's why I say brains are big liars, and you can't listen to them. They lie about so many things. They just think they're so dang smart, but it's false. Totally false. And they will tell you all kinds of very untrue things about many a thing. Not even just what you see in with art, but I think the moment... You know, one big advantage that I think artists have over other people is that we learn very early on that our perception is not reality, and we have to learn how to properly perceive reality. And we learn to distrust our brain. Makes things a lot less complicated for a lot of things in life, I think. When you realize that your brain and your perception of the world may not actually be correct. I have never drawn a single person pregnant. And frankly, I don't think being pregnant should be a threat. I say this as mom. I know. You know, it's like people gotta come up with better threats, I swear. You see, I don't hate that meme because of, you know, a good or bait nonsense, but because people gotta come up with better threats. They're so bad at it, oh my god. And yes, I will be drawing the entirety of Face Saga. This is the 3rd one. So far, I've drawn Malice and BB. Okay. But there we go. Now I have eliminated all of my curved lines, and everything is very straight now. Exactly the way it should be. Oh, I'll probably put all of them in one post at some point. But it's gonna be an eternity before I finish the series, so you know what it is. I do draw a lot slower on stream than I do off stream, and I already draw pretty slow off stream, so, you know, that's saying something. But it's okay. Is this correct? I feel like I messed something up. Hold on. Hair. Yeah, I did. Why did I erase there? Whatever. I'll fix it. There we go. I don't like that angle, though. Angles must be respected. Okay. So now I guess I just go back to continuing down her face, and... I hate that saying. I do. It's true. It will. But I want to draw faster. There are things that I want to do that I can't because I draw slow. I don't mind drawing slow on stream, though. That's fine. Because, you know, typically in the days that I end up talking a lot about a lot of things, I do draw a lot slower. But, you know, that's the beauty of streaming things live. You get to talk about things, and you get to react to people. And it's like, of course I'm going to be a bit slower when I'm taking the time to pay attention to chat. But I'm taking the time to respond to people and come up with interesting things to talk about. It's like, of course. And you know what? It's worth it. But when it comes to things I do off stream, I want to be faster. I'm practicing. Middling success so far, but that's okay. I'm working on it. I've just got many things I want to make, and one of them is, you know, comics, and I want to tell stories with art, and I think that sounds fantastic. But you can't draw comics when it takes you a week to draw one thing, and a week is fast for me. So I think the whole platitude of it's done when it's done is probably up on my current irritation list, along with just be yourself. I know, right? I'm so impressed. They're so good. I get the feeling that for me, increasing my speed is going to come with a period of where I take longer to do things. Because I think what I gotta do is just understand a general structure a lot better, for one, and how to apply that. And then I just need to kind of increase the amount of things that I am just extremely comfortable with. So, that'll require lots and lots of drawing the same thing repeatedly, which I haven't been doing, so there we go. I wouldn't say a bigger prep phase. I mean, I do think when it comes time to actually draw the comic, I will reuse a lot of assets. I do think that is true. I think that is necessary. But no, in this case, I'm just referring to increasing the amount of things that my brain is just highly familiar with. So, drawing the same thing over and over again. And, making sure that when I do draw it, I have a very, very thorough understanding of it. And in order to get that very thorough understanding of it, I need to slow down. And really, really study it. Oh no, I have to study. For shame. But, yeah, it is what it is. Okay, then I think before I get this back part, I'm going to do the ribbons. So I'm going to go ahead and finish off the bangs first. And then I'll go get those ribbons and finish off the rest of the hair. And then I can worry about the inside. And if you want the proper term for what I'm thinking of, it's a visual library. I need to expand my visual library. So this way I can just go into my brain, pull out the book I need, and immediately be able to draw it. That's where I'm like, at some point I'm probably just gonna have to study it. It feels gross. It's okay, I can do it. All right, are you ready for straight lines? Because I'm not. So you know what? Let's use the line tool instead. Because this would be one hell of a straight line. But I do want it to go all the way down like that. I'm gonna use a smaller brush. There we go. Maybe more around here. That should let me get the angle I want. And I'll just go down to the tip like this, and there we go. Then it's just a matter of cleaning everything up. That's another thing I'm trying to work on a little bit more, is making better use of tools instead of flailing. Yes, tools are important. They are helpful. Okay. I've been pretty bad about it. I mean, this is why I draw like 90% of everything with the hard round brush. I could probably stand to use things a little bit better. Okay, let's go do the ribbons. Let's just go get those guys done right now. I'll go ahead and let them be responsible for their own lines. Yeah. I've always been about hard round supremacy. I mean, in this case, I'm using one with just a size jitter, no opacity jitter, because I don't need it. But even when I was getting started, I started drawing in Photoshop, and I just really hated the soft brushes in Photoshop. I hated the way they looked, and it just felt like it made everything kind of slimy and shiny. So I just always used a hard round with opacity, even when I was trying to draw more realistically. And then I just very carefully blend things with my hard round brush. So I have gotten very used to it. Just think, all of this was born from me hating the soft brush in Photoshop. Sometimes I wonder how different things would be if I didn't hate the soft brush in Photoshop. Because I actually really do like Krita's airbrush. Krita's soft brushes are pretty good. But I thought Photoshop's were terrible. I can see that. GIMP is, at least the last time I used it, its UI was not the most user-friendly. But it's okay. Well, no, having a UI that's not user-friendly Yeah, having a UI that's not user-friendly is maybe not a good thing, but GIMP isn't even trying to be a drawing program. It's a editing program. Kind of in the same way Photoshop is not a drawing program. So I think it's okay for it to not be the best for drawing. And that's why we have Krita. Why we have programs that are actually meant for drawing as opposed to editing. Like, I don't think Krita is actually that great for photo editing, for example. But it's fantastic for painting, so. Man, it's been a while since I've done any real editing, now that I think about it. That's how I got started with art. I just edited existing pictures. Well, that's the sad thing. Adobe wasn't that bad when I started with Photoshop. This was like, you know, CS1 era. And that... But they still had evil Megacorp vibes, of course, but, they weren't nearly as bad. And at that point, I still felt like it was people that were trying to make nice things. So, that kind of thing is always sad. You hate to see it. And then they acquired Macromedia, and everything went to hell. I still miss Flash games. Okay, let's get some nice little ribbon shapes on here. We'll just have some cute little ribbon doing ribbon things. I always like this kind of shape on ribbons. I think it looks nice. Yeah. And I'm kind of glad that there's been a little bit of a resurgence in Flash adjacent games with the HTML5 updates. So, at least, I guess to an extent culturally, we're gonna get something similar to Flash games. I always encourage people out there, you know, if there's a game idea in your head, do your best to go make it. You can do it. I believe in you. There are things out there that can help. And the world needs more cool things and more games that get to exist just because their creator wants it to exist. I hope that someday people will be willing to embrace hobbies again and not feel the need to make money off of them. That would be fantastic. Yeah. Everything starts somewhere. I have seen so many wonderful little things out there. Like, recently, this is an HTML game. It's currently in development, but I thoroughly enjoyed my time with it. It's called Terraformental. And it was just a neat little exploration on a terraforming facility. and trying to figure out what the hell's going on, and it was really neat. I liked it a lot. I've already kind of gone through all the content and waiting for the next update to drop, but you know, it'll be probably the kind of thing that I check once or twice a year just to see how it's doing. And that is literally just a little menu-based game. Well, there's a lot of heart in it. And it's just out there on the internet. So it's okay, that's why I say. Yeah. That kind of thing is fantastic. So, you know, never be afraid to just go make things. It's all good. Go make all the things. We don't need AAA games. We need cool games. Look, man, I started this stream ranting about the state of the industry. We don't need that. We just need cool stuff. And you don't need flashy graphics to have really fun, gameplay-focused experiences. It's wonderful. I play many a browser-based game with just text. I like incremental games. So where we go. I just remember that for like a week, I was just like super into trimps. I actually had to stop playing because it was taking too much time to play. And I had things I needed to do. It was a little bit sad. Yeah, I think simple art styles are pretty good. I think this one is pretty simple. I use very few colors. This one actually has more colors than usual. It's okay. I think most art is better when it's... I wanted to say when you're just having fun, but no, I think it's okay to not just have a good time when drawing. I think it's okay to be depressed when drawing. But to make something because it's just something you want to exist. No other reason. Just go do the thing. Oh yeah. I've seen some pretty good stuff come out of RPG Maker. I don't play a lot of RPG Maker games, but I very much approve of its existence. And more people just being hobbyists. Just go make the thing. It'll be great. I mean, I think 90% of everything tends to be kind of bad. But that doesn't mean that it shouldn't exist. It's fine. It's fine. No, I was just agreeing with your statement, don't worry. No criticism there. It's like, most things are bad. It's fine. It doesn't mean that they can't be fun, too. Especially when it comes to things like amateur design and whatnot. Like, of course, there are people that just wanted to kind of go out and do something. Of course, they're probably not going to get it right in their first try. It's fine. It takes a long time to hone the skills necessary to get to a high level of quality. It's not going to happen on your first time through, and that is fine. Yeah. Exactly. Embrace scuff. It'll be great. It'll be great. And then, you know, you'll have a thing. And you'll be able to say that you did the thing. And it is great. Feels wonderful. Actually, I kind of want something a little bit more like this on the side here. I forgot to do this on the other side too, so I'll go do that. Okay, here we go. I just want those lines to be a little straighter. And I just didn't want the ribbon to be quite so square. There we go. Now it's a little less square and I'm a little more happy. There we go. Okay. I guess I should fix down here as well and make it just a tad less square. I should do that on the other one as well. I'm gonna go do that before I forget, because, you know, that sounds like something I would do. It's easy to forget these little things. Okay. Back over here. And that should do it for the ribbons. So now I should be able to go off and finish the hair nice and easily. Because I know which parts of the hair are covered up by the ribbons now. So there we go. So I know that I don't really have to care about anything over here. So now I can just go back to happily smoothing. Hair. Oh, you gotta be so time-consuming. Okay, as long as it looks good, all will be well. Let me see. How does that little strand work? Okay, yeah, it shouldn't be sticking out. It should be mostly flat. I'll probably have a little tiny piece of it sticking out, just so her head's not quite so flat. But nah, it's gotta be mostly flat there. Okay, and then soon it's gonna be time to decide where to put all the lines. I get the feeling that for this layer, I'm not really gonna have a lot of exterior lines. I think I'm gonna let all the layers underneath it kind of handle that. There are a few places that need it though, like over here. There's nothing underneath that, so I gotta put a line there. Which probably means I'm gonna be having a line across most of the top. Okay. While in render mode, there's not actually that much to think about, so my mind wanders very much. That's okay. It's a necessary step. This is where things get to look really nice. Where I bring it into a lovely finished state. Okay. Man, just right there really does not want to smooth. Come on, buddy. I believe in you. It's not so bad. Lately, I've only been drawing things that have a lot of hard shadows, but even soft shadows aren't too bad if you like them. in the Katya drawing, the A-side drawing as I call it, that one is going to have lots of soft edges. Need to break things up a little. Been doing too much of the same style. I want to change things up a little. No, that's what I was saying. If you like soft shadows, I mean, this one, for example, is only going to have hard shadows. I'm not going to put anything soft in it. I guess that's not entirely true. I do blush the cheeks with an airbrush, but that's it. But no, this one will have entirely hard shadows, so you can do either. But if you like soft shadows, they're not too bad. You get used to it with a little bit of practice. And at least as far as I'm concerned, there's a difference between liking something and wanting to do it yourself, so you can decide to have soft shadows or not. There's like a Pin, that artist that I showed on stream for a second there. He does a lot of stuff with line. His line work is fantastic. I will never draw like him because I don't want to do that much with line work. That sounds like pain. But I can still appreciate what he does. Yep. More or less. There we go. Okay. So I think I got the outside mostly good. So now it's time to get all of my little lines in. And I'm actually going to do that zoomed out first. Let's see, I wanted a little bump for this guy right here. Okay. And that's on the edge, so no, I'm gonna insist on smoothing it right away. Huh. Fascinating. I didn't use black when initially putting lines on this. How odd. Okay. Well, I gotta fix that. Alright, let's start cleaning up some of this. Layer was not locked for some reason. Okay, how have I been doing here? I'm trying to remember. Well, it doesn't matter. Let's just go ahead and define the bits of hair here. And I'm not really worried about putting black around things there because I know that the area that it's next to is going to be black. I don't have the layer on right now, but eventually it'll be like this, so I don't need black lines on the bottom here. Let's lightly sketch all this out before I go in and smooth it all. Because some of the hair's moved around a bit. And some things are just different. So it is time to re-evaluate. Get everything the way that I want it to be now. It depends on what I'm trying to do, but in general, I like very high contrast things. Contrast is wonderful. I really like bright light. And as for this is just me going for something very specific stylistically and kind of doing experiments based on that. And I think it's been going very well, so, you know, I'm gonna keep doing it. So right now I'm just doing all of Faye's Saga in this style, you know, maybe I'll end up doing all of Faye's Connect in this style. I haven't decided yet. Who knows? We'll see what I feel like doing. I I like it. I like it a lot. I've been developing a kind of minimalist style for a long time. And I feel like this is one of the two directions the evolution of it can go. Of just being extremely overdramatic and very silly. And the other one is something kind of adjacent to a pen and ink art. With kind of hatchy lines and that kind of thing. So I do that sometimes too. But no, I wanted to specifically experiment with being very dramatic, very harsh shadows and very sharp lines. That's why that's why curved lines are forbidden. Everything must be straight. I think it makes everything just look way more dramatic. So I like it. I like it a lot. So I'll definitely keep this in my repertoire forever. It's not gonna go anywhere. Why is that so lumpy? What the heck? Gross. I hate it. Ah, it's okay. It'll find you. And I mean, I have many. I don't feel the need to choose. I just kind of draw things that I think look nice, and I will pick whatever style suits the mood that I'm going for that image. When it comes down to it, I just think art style is the decisions made while making the art. And that's it. So certain decisions will get you a certain look and other decisions will get you a different one. Easy peasy. So if you want your art to look different, then, you know, just make different choices. But I don't think style is something you really have to look for. Yeah, I think it's something that finds you. Yep. And that's it. I don't think it's anything very deep or special. A lot of people like to treat art style like an extension of the soul or whatever. I don't think it's anything that pretentious. Literally, I think it's just the choices you made while drawing that specific picture. So if you want something different, make different choices. Easy to understand. So here, I just made a very specific choice to try to make things as dramatic and crazy as possible. So I made something that looks like this. Because that's what I think makes things look really dramatic and really cool. I like it. I like it lots. And so I'll keep doing it. And it'll be great. I mean, I think it's pretty natural to want to be unique. Especially when you're creating something. You want it to be distinctly yours. I think that's pretty natural. Okay, there we go. I think that's good for the basics here. I think some of these bottom hairs might need some lines around it, though. Let's figure out where these head shadows are going to go. And then I can know which ones will need a little bit more help. Pretty sure it's just going to be something like this. A little lower. There we go. I think that's about what I'm looking for. Get rid of the lines around the head for now. Although that's a point. I will be doing cast shadows from the rest of the hair here. So no, none of the ones at the bottom need lines. Fantastic. Because I will be casting shadows like this. Okay. Well, that makes my life a little bit easier, so huzzah. But I'll still go ahead and just kind of get the basic things in here right now while I'm thinking about it. Just trying some things on how I want the cheeks to be lit here. Like I said, it's all decisions, so I want to pay attention in order to make the decision that'll make me happy and will suit what I'm trying to do with this picture. Okay. Yeah, I think that's about what I want. I'll just go ahead and leave it on. While I finish kind of smoothing out the hair here, I'm not quite satisfied with how some of those lines look. Stretch. There we go. So let's make this all just a little bit nicer here. And yeah, the stuff there is going to be responsible for their own black, so that should be fine. Here we'll need a little bit though because there's a transparent part around it. Okay. No, I just have some nerve damage in my chest, so sometimes my arms lock up a little bit. And so I just kind of need to move them a little bit in order to be able to move properly again. Plus, stretching feels good. It is. Okay, let's get this nice and straight now. I just realized there were a ton of curved lines in that, and just can't have that. We need to be more dramatic. This style is too dramatic for curved lines. So they have no place here. Okay. Now then, let's just get some more dramatic shadows in there. Because I am not satisfied. We need more drama in the hair. It is required. Let's just get this all looking really nice now. This is where I get to play around with some things, and I am always a fan of that. Playing around is fun. And it feels great. There we go. That's pretty nice. This is why I want to do it all kind of zoomed out first. Because if I did it while zoomed in, I would have lost perspective. And I probably would have had a lot of really boring shapes in there. And, you know, that's just no fun for anyone. But like this, I can keep a close eye on how everything is going. And understand exactly what I'm trying to do. And everything will be great. Yep. It's real easy to do. But like this, I will never forget what I'm trying to do. I can see it very clearly. And so I can have my ultra dramatic hair and I will be happy. I even on the kind of back hair there, the part that's being pulled into the pigtails, I even decided to reverse the colors. I decided I just want that whole thing to be in shadow. So I'm just putting in a few highlights to give the impression of the hair being pulled back into the pigtails. And that is sufficient for what it needs to do. So there we go. That's a little different. Basically, after a while, you kind of get used to looking at the picture, so it becomes harder to spot errors because everything just kind of starts looking correct. It's normal to you. So in traditional art, where you can't just easily flip the canvas, it's actually recommended to take periodic breaks every few hours, so that this way you can come back with fresh eyes and have a better idea of what your picture actually looks like. But in digital, we can just flip the canvas and get the same effect. And then we can keep drawing instead of stopping. I've also heard similar things for traditional of flipping the picture upside down, just so that it now looks weird to your brain again. And it'll also help you find issues that you might not have noticed before. But no, that's less of a perspective thing and more just don't let your brain get used to anything thing. Don't let your picture start looking normal. Okay. Let's see. I think I want a little bit more down there. These guys being thin, I think, is fine. Maybe I'll make this one just a little thicker. But, yeah, there we go. Now I think we're good. Do I want to do the same thing with the pigtails before I fully render this? Yeah, sure. Let's really double check things. So, but we're gonna have a funny bald spot and floating pigtails for a second. Don't worry about it. It's fine. I'm even gonna... can I do that? Okay. No, that's we'll just get rid of the collar. Okay. I don't want YouTube to bonk me. I fear the YouTube. Okay. So yeah, let's go ahead and I'm gonna smooth out the edges of the pigtails. After I get rid of everything green nearby. So let's see, I want to get rid of this tail. And the spikes. It's okay, it's temporary. Even HoloLive girls with floating pigtails would not look like this. Where's my sleeve layer? There you are. Okay, getting rid of everything green nearby, so this way I can see very clearly. But it is fine, and I mean, I'm sure the day will come where I want to work on her body and I will cut off her head. And she'll get it back later. It's okay. She doesn't need it right now. But that'll come a bit later. All right. Just time to smooth it all out. right now, I just want to make sure that these lines are nice and straight, and I really want the point where the angle changes to be a bit more sharp. I want that to look sharp enough to cut you. I want to make it look like you really, really would not want to poke that edge. There we go. Right here still feels a little bit dull, so I'll straighten that out, but... I swear I'm still not using proper black, am I? No, I am. Okay, good. And things are changing a little bit, the general shapes, and that's fine. I will go ahead and fill them in, because I do not want to be dealing with any holes. I just want to lock the layer and not have to worry about anything ever again. That's always the best feeling for me. That's why I like to focus on the outer ends first. One of these days I will get this line straight. There we go. See, all you gotta do is complain about it, and then suddenly everything works. It's a tactic that has not failed me. Okay, and I know there's no line there, it's fine. I'll get it in there a bit later. I just want to be able to get this to the point where I can lock the layer and never worry about things. I don't know, it's helped me quite a bit, actually. Just, recording myself and making an effort to have 0 dead air so that this way people can kind of understand what I'm doing. It's helped me a lot, even when there's nobody watching. I have learned much about my process and kind of had some thoughts on where I want to be going with it all. So it's been nice. I mean, it's nicer when people are here, but even when they're not, I feel like I've gotten a lot out of just streaming art. I think it's the only reason that I've been able to do it for a year and a half. Okay. Just trying to get all those angles there. I'm trying to kind of respect what I drew. What I drew before, just making it a little bit more finalized. A little bit smoother. A little bit nicer. And in this case, a little bit straighter. Actually, a lot straighter. Because while I'm sketching, I allow myself to have curved lines. I find them easier to understand. But for the final bit, no curved lines allowed, and I will continue to proclaim it, because otherwise I will forget. It keeps happening. It's terrible! I'm having to fight so many instincts to keep all these lines this straight. Okay, I need to get rid of the armband there because it has too much black on it. I must be able to see. It is of the utmost importance. Okay. So, almost around to the first one. Hair, man. Takes forever. The result is worth it, but I'm still gonna complain because it really does take forever. Oh god, now there's another big black shape around here that's in the way. And the arms are in the way too. We're just gonna have to get rid of, like, everything. She's just gonna be a floating head at this point. That's fine. Where do I put the arms? There they are. And yeah, there's something back there. I'm actually not sure what that is. I thought I hid the tail. I must have drawn on the wrong layer. That's deeply unfortunate. Oh no, that's just a part of her hair. Okay, let's get rid of the torso first then. There we go, now we see some of the leg residue, and I always find this very amusing when I start hiding layers. And then you just see the stuff underneath that was never there before. We have some hot pink remains. That's okay, I didn't draw on the wrong layer. I was wrong. I'm glad I was wrong. I do it more often than I'd like to admit, though. This one, I'm actually changing the shape of quite a bit, but that's fine. I can do what I want. My past self has no hold over present me. Like, sometimes my past self makes great decisions, and I'm very proud of her. But sometimes her ideas are just not very good, and it's up to me to kind of come through and fix them. It's okay, she's doing her best. Oh, definitely present me. I'm way stronger than past me. Past me wouldn't stand a chance. There we go, nice and pointy. Just the way I wanted for this. Okay, now I just gotta go fill all this in, and I already know that I'm gonna have to redo a lot of the lines going around, so, you know, it's fine. It's fine to be a little bit messy here. I guess it'd be preferable if I didn't have to be, but let's be real. If I tried to perfect everything now, I think I'd lose more time than just getting the general shapes here and then going back and fixing everything later. I like to think about it a lot because I want to be faster. I want to draw fast. I want to draw many things. Many, many wonderful things. There's only so much you can do when you draw slow. This is why I hate platitudes. It's easy to say that it'll be done when it's done, but that doesn't help me draw more things. Or comics, for that matter. Okay. It's alright. I am getting there. There's more hair than I thought there was, and that's saying something. So, freaking anime hair, man. It keeps coming. Just when you think you're getting through it, suddenly the hair's like, hello, there's more, and it never stops. Just looks too good. Otherwise, nobody would ever tolerate their shenanigans. I have decided I wish to keep this hole here, so I'm gonna make it a little bigger there. Explore the shape. I think something like this will work, though. There we go. I just gotta keep going. Okay. So there we go. I think that's one of them. It's very wrinkly and silly looking right now. Oh, wait. No, there's a hole in here. I gotta get that hole, too. Very wrinkly and silly looking, but that's okay. I am only concerning myself with the outside at the moment. I will worry about the inside momentarily, but I want to get this side first, which means I got more layers to hide because there's more stuff in the way. Let's see, where's that bat? I gotta get the head shadows out of the way, too. There we go. Are you even supposed to be there? What the heck is that? Okay, it's just something that's covered up by hair. That's why I didn't want to spend too much time on the outside there. Okay. Anywho. One more pigtail. Here we go. Then we'll see how much of the final rendering I can do before I gotta go for today. Today was fun. I like being able to talk about art. I don't always know what to talk about, but art is great, and I like talking about it. I want that line to be a bit straighter. Oh man, I wish I was as confident as I look. But no, I just gotta do my best. I think a little bit of insanity and imposter syndrome is inevitable. I just good at pretending. And telling my brain, hey, you're dumb, go away. Very important skill. Can't let your brain get too arrogant, otherwise it'll try to convince you of all sorts of silly things. But I just like to come on and try things, so I will be trying many more things. Aw. Yeah. It actually is hard to get back into things. Because, I mean, for a while, you kind of get into a groove, and you get used to art being hard, but then you stop for a bit, and you're just like, and you come back, and you're just like, holy shit, art is hard. So, it takes some getting used to again. That's happened to me a couple of times. That has indeed happened to me. Happened to me before. It's okay, you got used to it once, you can get used to it again. Don't worry about it. Just go and do the thing, it'll be great. It always is. Maybe not in the moment, but eventually. I've always liked the comparison to doing hard things of, the difference between, you know, courage and fearlessness. Like, courage is hard. It requires you to actually be afraid of something and still do it. Whereas, you know, with fearlessness, there's no fear to begin with, so it's not hard. And people always like to say, you know, with all the platitudes, have courage. And acting like courage is this great, fantastic thing. But in the moment, it really sucks. It's the worst. Because your brain is just freaking out. And you just gotta keep going. And it sucks. It sucks. Courage is terrible. But, you know, it's just a matter of whether or not the result is worth it. Yeah. Yeah, I've had moments like that. There's been many a time where I just don't want to stream, but I come anyway. Today was actually like that, so I'm glad I came. Otherwise, I would have missed out on all the fun stuff today, and that would have been sad. And I wouldn't have gotten to draw the cool thing. I was really worried about this morning. But I came on and I drew the thing, and I'm glad I did. Because the thing is pretty cool. I like it a lot. And lots of good things happened today. Today's been pretty good so far. Today has been pretty good so far. Okay, where am I going now? Yeah, this strand. Am I satisfied with the way that hole is? I feel like right here is not quite sharp enough to cut me yet, so I want to refine that just a little. If I'm not being threatened with copious amounts of bleeding, I'm drawing it wrong. Okay. I don't know why I drew that in one line. That was nerve-wracking. I had to hold my breath. There we go, and now I can just fill it on in. I'm glad that worked out, though, because it would have been sad if I drew the end drawing and then had to redraw the beginning again. Okay, and that's fine for now. Like I said, I will make all that nice in just a little bit. I just kind of want to get the outside good, and then I can worry about the gist of the inside, and then it'll be time to render it all and make it all nice and clean. I'm getting near the end, so it's always a little bit hard when I'm near the end to avoid getting lazy. But no, I want all of these wonderful little strands to look their best. So I gotta keep up the energy until the end. No, I want this to kind of come out a little bit more. There we go. I want it to look nice and dramatic, and a little bit unnatural. That's like a little bit too long, though. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Just gotta adjust the angles until everything works together. And, you know, a lot of the time things just kind of work out, and it is wonderful. Man. This angle needs to be steeper, I think. There we go. I just want the difference between this part and this part coming out to be a little bit bigger. So, let's make this part a little steeper. Ah, hair. It's okay. I always know that this is one of the reasons I've come to like starting with hair. Because I know once the hair is done, that's like the biggest hurdle out of the way. I get to do the hard part first. And then it's done, and I'm free. At least until hair decides to surprise me and be like, oh, you thought you were done. You're silly. And then this part I don't really have to care about, so I'll just, I'm just gonna ignore it, actually. Okay. So let's lock that, and now I'm gonna start deciding where all the strands and stuff should go, and I'm gonna try to keep them straight, but right now I'm just worried about the big picture, so it'll stay nice and zoomed out. And then I just gotta go put all these little things in. It'll be great. It's always great. Do I like this one going behind? I think I do. Okay. That works. I've been working on putting together the time-lapse for the BB Biscuit drawing that I did. And I have everything basically done. It's just waiting for me to do the voiceover that I want to do. I recorded the first attempt yesterday, and I kind of don't like it. So I'm going to try to re-record it today. And we'll see how that goes. I am very hopeful that I'll be able to get it out this week, though. I'm gonna talk about art style. We talked a little bit about that today. I'll be talking a little bit about it there. This is kind of why I already had an idea of what to say with all that. Because I had been thinking about it all week. If I'm being honest, I prefer music, but it seems like more and more people are doing voiceovers. So I figured, I should give it a shot. But that's because I kind of like to watch time lapses to turn my brain off. For me, they're kind of just simple entertainment. So music is very nice for that. Why do I have a line there? I don't get it. Yeah. But, like I said, the meta right now seems to be voiceover, so I'm gonna go give it a try. And I put together something a little bit on style. I don't really like how it came out, so I'm gonna try again. But I'm still very hopeful that I can get that out before the end of the week. Well, that's why I stream. I think time lapses tend to be too fast to properly be able to do any of that. But that's why I've got the real time here. Because then, you know exactly what's going on, because I am literally talking about it. So, some parts more than others, because there's only so much you can say when I'm like, okay, it is time to make the hair smooth. I am smooth in hair. Look at me. Making the hair look nice. And it's all very uninteresting, but yeah, exactly. I do my best to explain everything that I'm doing. And then you can ask me whatever you want. And I can actually, respond in real time. Because there are some things that seem obvious to me that may not actually be very obvious. Because to me, everything I'm doing right now is just, you know, boring, basic hair stuff. But it's all necessary, so it must be done. Yeah, right now I'm just trying to... This is all hair structure stuff. So I'm just like, okay, hair looks like this. How does it actually fit into the pigtail here? Where is it all coming out? And where are there going to be deeper shadows? And where is it going to be less shadowed and that kind of thing? And then, what do I want to do to make it look more hair-like and all that stuff? I just put in like a few strands here and there in a place that I feel like it's insufficiently hair-like. But for me, it's largely about just giving the impression that this is hair. Oh, that's before speed paint was a program. It was a technique where you'd spend very little time drawing something. It was literally, you know, a painting done quickly. And that was true before computers even existed. That's why I refuse to call my thing speed paints. I call them drawing time lapses. Because it's a time lapse. It's been a while since I've done a proper speed paint. I don't do them very often because I'm slow, but I might end up doing some occasionally. Just it'd probably be good for me since I want to learn how to draw faster. And you know, a good way to learn how to draw faster is to literally draw faster. Okay, there we go. I think that looks pretty alright. So I'll go do the same on the other side here. Just kind of get the general gist here. Kind of decide where everything is gonna live. What is even going on there? There we go. Okay. Just some very confused shadows. This is exactly why I knew that I was going to have to go over all of my lovely lines again, because I knew I was going to mess them all up here. Well, that's fine. I need to know where things are going to live before I can get them into proper places. Okay, and the biggest thing that I'm paying attention to is just deciding which strands are on top and which ones are on the bottom. So this guy is going like over to these guys, and it's underneath this one right here. So I'm making sure that's clear in how I'm shading it all. Especially for styles like this, clarity is king. Very important that it's very obvious what's happening. So this one's underneath again, so it's getting a thicker shadow. And that'll about do it, I think. Maybe just another little spot right through there. Okay. And then the rest I can make nice with little, like, strand effects like there. I plopped some in to see if I liked the way it looked, and yeah. So that'll be how I fix the rest. But now it is time to clean it all up. More stretch. Oh, man. Stretching feels nice. Okay. So now it's just time to go back over everything and make it all look nice. And at this point, I feel like I can trust what I drew, so I can just stay zoomed in to 200% and really go ham on smoothing. I'll see how much of this I can get done in the next 30 minutes. And I guess my brain has arbitrarily decided it wanted to start here, so that's fine by me. It doesn't really matter where I start. I just gotta pick a spot and go. I can see that there's still some that got kinda... for whatever reason, were not properly black, which is very strange. I picked a bad color at some point and started drawing. How unfortunate. It feels very strange because most of the time whenever I want to use black, I literally just hit D to default the colors to black and white. I must have color picked there and then color picked badly, and then the bad color pick got spread around. Very sad. I've been kind of excited for today because my daughter joined the board game club at her school, and this is the first meeting she's able to go to. So she's got to get to go play some board games with other kids. It's going to be fantastic. I look forward to seeing how she did. She tends to be a little bit ornery when she doesn't get her way, so I'm curious to see how she's going to handle playing some board games. I don't know. I'm going to ask her, but I just know that there was a board game club at the school, and they sent sign-ups, and I asked her if she wanted to join, and she said yes. So, there we go. So I'll definitely ask her when she gets home. But I'm always happy to see that she's just very interested in socializing with other kids. I think social skills are probably one of the most important things for kids to learn, and they're greatly underappreciated. Oh, that sounds fun. Yeah. I think this is just going to be normal board games like Monopoly. Maybe not Monopoly specifically. That might be a little bit complicated for a 6-year-old, but those kinds of things. I'm always very eager to help her go out and socialize more. It was one of my very explicit goals when I was pregnant. I even remember saying the phrase, telling my husband, just thinking about my philosophy there, gotta tell her you are gonna go out and make friends and you are gonna like it. And she was a fetus. Fortunately, I didn't have to be quite so harsh there. She has taken to it very strongly. My son has too, so I'm glad. They're gonna go out and learn how to talk to people. I guess. I've never been very social myself. So that's why it makes me very happy to see that she's doing so well there. Because I do think social skills are just the most important thing to learn for little kids, and they are greatly underappreciated. And I think if she gets good with people, she's gonna have a much easier time in life than I did. I want her to go out and join all the clubs and have a good time. I remember during the summer, I was taking her out to the park pretty much every day, even though it meant I had to go out and be in the sun, and I hated it. But worth. Completely worth. Like I said, she's gonna go out and make friends and she's gonna like it. I will accept nothing else. The sacrifices you make for the tiny humans in your life. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to asking her how it went and what she played and whatever she wants to talk about. She doesn't really like talking to me about school, but that's alright. We'll see how much I can get out of her. Maybe I can bribe her with a brownie. Oh, nice. Her grandma made some brownies, so she's got some. Me, I'm not really eating sweets right now, and I'm pretty okay with that. I don't need sweets. I will eat them for special occasions, but otherwise, it's fine. Oh. Fascinating. I've never heard of that. But I'm also not really much of a baker. I have an irrational fear of the stove. My husband handles all the cooking. Oh yeah, you know, thinking about it, that is the thing, isn't it? Well, you are kind of, especially for bread stuff, you are relying on living organisms to make it rise, so it makes sense. Anything living is going to be temperamental. But it's okay, the dough sense of weakness it also makes sense. Yeah. Oh, I can respect the culinary arts. It's the kind of thing that I will never make. I will never do it myself. But I can respect it. Oh, what happened? Oh, nice. Congrats. When you said tried, I feared for the worst, but it sounds like it went great. I see. Fascinating. Oh, there really is a lot that goes into cooking. I will never get good, but that's okay. I mostly eat to sustain myself. But I do have a respect for the people that do get good. I see. I've always liked watching people decorate cakes. Cake decorating goes hard. Yeah, but then it's not like fancy and artistic. That's why I say that I mostly eat to sustain myself. But the culinary arts are fascinating to me. This is why I can't talk about food, because I hate talking about food. But when it comes to people making art, I can respect it. I wouldn't know. I just see, ooh, big shiny. Look at the pretty patterns. They're so pretty. Yay! Oh man, getting the first few strands done. Hair, man. Okay, I think it's already looking pretty alright, so I'm happy. I don't think I'm gonna finish the hair this time, but that's okay. We got to talk about all kinds of cool things, and I got to show some cool art. So as far as I'm concerned, today was very successful. And I will at least have set my future self up for success come Sunday when I work on this one again. Very excited for it. I like her. I haven't been able to watch very much of Faye's lately, but I do like her. Her energy is very infectious. It's like, man, the last time I watched, I think it was only a month or so after her debut, maybe a little bit later, but I remember watching her playthrough of Lifeline, I think it was called, the anti-ESL game. I wanted to give her a hug, but at the same time, I couldn't stop laughing. Just... the repeated, the bed, okay. The bed, okay. I had no idea it existed until now. I had never heard of it. It's like at that point in my life, I was basically all RPGs and adventure games all the time. So I'm not really surprised that I never heard of it. You know, I'd believe it. Yes. No, I know exactly what you mean. That's why I was like, yeah, I can believe it. It's definitely an interesting game. It just... I don't think they thought it through very well, because it looks like absolutely terrible to play. Even if you don't roll your R's. Even if you are able to speak clearly and it is mostly able to understand you, it still looks terrible to play. Yes. I'm glad that there are people out there willing to do experimental things, but at the same time, I wish they thought a little bit more about how to play it. Because I mean, at that point, I really look forward to the day when people accept that QuickTime events are not gameplay. And that game just looked like QuickTime Events the game. Or point-and-click adventure game, but with voice. And, it just seems like, the jank mechanics aside, they just didn't think about how it was going to be played. And it was just a gimmick. And that always makes me a little bit sad. If you're gonna do interesting things with voice commands, then, you know, do interesting things with voice commands. Don't just use it for the sake of it. Oh, there's lots out there. I mean, QuickTime events are easy. Game design is hard. So there you go. Actually making something compelling and engaging is really, really hard, but QuickTime events and saying, yes, this is interactivity. Yeah, that's easy. It's not good, but it's easy. And then you can justify making things a video game or something, I guess. No, I'll always be 100% against QTEs. I cannot think of a single place where they're good. About the closest that I can be okay with is when the battle is done, and just for drama, you make the player press one button that they have infinite time to do. I barely played consoles by the time the PS3 was out. I don't think I got a PS3 until Tales of Berseria came out. I mean, it's the same to me. I don't care if it's a waggle or button push, it doesn't matter. It's not gameplay. I actually am not... Well, I guess I should say I'm not any more bothered by waggle controls than I am anything else that likes to pretend like it's gameplay when it's not. No, it's not immersive is the thing. It's like, I know that was the direction that they were thinking, but it's not. It's just not true. It's delusional. There are ways to make players immersed in your game, but it requires, you know, actual gameplay, and gameplay is hard. But, you know, QTEs are easy, and that's why they keep happening. Game design is very hard because it is an art, and I will be as pretentious as I want with that view. Because I love video games, and I think they are wonderful and underappreciated. And I look forward to the day when people consider game design more of an art and are willing to dig deeper into it and just everything that makes it cool. Alright, so let's see. It looks like I'm gonna get probably about half the front hair done here. Man, hair. This is another thing that I've been exploring a lot lately, and I want to try many a thing, but I think that streaming actually has the potential for the same kind of strong interactivity that video games do. I'd like to pull some more of that in. I'm kind of limited in what I can do right now because I can't guarantee that I'm going to have people show up at the moment and both show up and be willing to participate and talk. So I am kind of limited in what I can do interactivity-wise, but I've been thinking about it a lot. Nothing to report, really. What I've been thinking about is too abstract for me to really be able to put into words yet. But for me, the difference between a live stream and a normal YouTube video or like a stage performance or any of those things is indeed the interactivity. So I think there's lots of potential for very cool things if I can just, you know, figure out how to do it. It is time. Well, not even, yeah, and not like technical integrations, but audience participation is the way I'd put it. So, you know, I'm gonna go potential pretentious route and treat my stream like high art. But the rolled R. But it's kind of hard to do. It's another case of, you know, chatting with people or being a cute girl doing a cute thing. Like that, I think is easy. But can I turn it into an experience? Can I approach this the same way I'd approach designing a game? I think it's possible. I just not quite sure how yet. But I look forward to doing it. And for now, I'm very happy to do my art streams where I draw things and treat it like Zatsudan with extra steps. Because I think there's still merit there, even if it is relatively easy compared to what I think could be done. But it's okay. I mean, the reason that you don't see a lot of it is because it's hard. So I've been breaking my brains over it. Feels good. Absolutely nothing. I think they're great. Nothing wrong with socializing. And I think it'll be good to hold me over in the meantime. While I try to think about, you know, directions I want to go and things I want to try. We're going to be doing some science in the coming months. I am looking forward to it. I am just thinking very hard about things I want to put out into the world. Because a lot of this is very much creative impulse for me, and I kind of want to follow those. I want to see what I can do. Push myself a little bit harder every day. Because that's how you do a little bit more. It's all very exciting to me. But maybe I'm just a little bit easily excited. Okay, got about 10 more minutes here. So let's see if I can finish this side of the hair. I'm not going to worry about a pigtail land yet. I mean, in fact, I'm even going to go ahead and turn that off briefly here, just so I can see what I'm doing with the strand a little bit better. But I bet I can get all the hair on this side before it's time to go. I am timing myself somewhere. Practicing the speed. Seeing what I can do, while forcing myself not to rush. It's very hard to resist the allure of rushing, but I must take it seriously. I do not want my lovely hair to look bad because I'm rushing. That would just be very unfair to the hair. Sometimes I like to treat my drawings like they're people, and I talk to them. Ask, you know, what is it that you want me to do here? Why is this so wrong? Talk to me, picture. Tell me what's up. And sometimes it responds. So I do try to treat the picture with respect when I can. I like the way the hair is coming out, though. I mean, I'm zoomed into 200%, so I can't be entirely sure what it looks like when I zoom out, but I think that this is looking great. I thought it was looking pretty good when it was rough, and I'm looking forward to zooming out and seeing what it looks like when it's smooth. This is another reason that I really like getting most of the details down before I start rendering it out like this, because then I can stay zoomed in, and then I can zoom out, and as long as I can have a good deal of trust over what I was just doing, then I get that satisfying moment of, that's everything that I've been working towards. How wonderful. I was not satisfied with how straight these lines were, so I'm fixing it. You will be straight and you will like it. Okay, here we go. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Being good and taking my time even though I'm trying to go fast. Feels good. I do like to try to draw the lines before I resort to the line tool, unless it's just a really heckin' long one. Because I think it's good practice. But if it starts taking too long, I'm just gonna bail and use the line tool. I will be kind to myself, I guess. I guess. Okay, and then I just had these little guys on the side here, and I think that'll be it. Or I just want them to look, you know, vaguely strandy, and then all will be well. Let's see it. I still even got 5 minutes. I'm gonna have time to spare. Awesome. Okay, here we go. And that is one side. Let's turn the pigtails back on. Lots. I'm just laughing at what she looks like with half her body missing. I'm gonna go turn on my layers. I'm gonna leave the highlights off, but I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the rest. Dude, it's incredible. It's so dumb. I love it. There we go. So, first step's done today. We got the face roughly proportioned the way I want, and the hair is smoothed on the outside. So now it's just a matter of going through and cleaning up the rest. Wish me luck. Freaking anime hair, man. Takes forever. But I do think it looks good. I think it's already looking pretty alright. Another big stretch. Oh yeah. So. Yeah, I think it's, you know, I think I made it work. I was really worried about it for a while last time. I was really afraid that I might have to scrap the idea and just try a different pose. But I think I made this one work. I think she still has a little bit of, like, chibi-adjacent proportions, but I don't think it looks bad, so I'm gonna roll with it. But yeah, I think I can be happy with progress today. Next time, hopefully we finish hair. If I don't finish it in 3 hours, I hope we're chatting a lot, because otherwise I will be very concerned. She doesn't have that much hair. And we'll see how far into the face I can get. Oh, I get to paint a face next time. Very excited. Hell yeah, I love painting faces. But this is where I will stop for today, so thank you all for coming. And I hope you're able to make something wonderful today. I will see you all tomorrow. Oh no, I think Shinon is probably going to be one of the easier ones. Yeah, I think she's actually going to be... Oh no, that's fine, because I'm not drawing her full body. I'm drawing her from the waist up, so it's all good. Most of her hair is going to be behind her back. That's actually probably not true. It's still going to be anime hair. But yes, I will see you all tomorrow. Go make something wonderful. It'll be great. Bye-bye, Nanoyo.